What's going on YouTube? Today is the day where I talk about how I made my first $100 million, which I have right here. And it's kind of a long-winded story, but it has to do with mindset, philosophical like ponderings about this place that we're in. I don't want to call it the universe. I don't want to call it Earth or anything. Like, just get rid of all the words that you've learned before. Really get into the geometric space that you're in right now. Just really hone in on I can't even call it anything, really. There's no words to describe what I'm talking about. Because when you do the thing I'm trying to tell you to do, which is to hone in on this place that we're in, I guess I can call it this place, because it is a place, like, by definition. But when you do what I'm trying to tell you, what to do, then you kind of just get into this mindset of like, holy crap, I'm actually here right now. It's kind of awe-inspiring. A little bit scary, because, it's kind of I don't know, maybe it doesn't scare you. Maybe it makes you a little bit uncomfortable, because we automatically want our brains to latch on to a specific thought or thing, something that we've seen before. But it starts there. It starts just forking off the path that you're on right now, which is not $100 million. And just telling yourself, bro, where I'm at right now is worth how much money? Like, if you were to die tomorrow, right? But you had a trade-off between dying tomorrow or getting $10 million. Which would you pick? And living. So you live, you don't get $10 million, but you wake up tomorrow. Or you get $10 million today on a condition that you die tomorrow. So what would you take? Living or the $10 million? So if you chose living, that means that waking up tomorrow is worth more than $10 million. So with the law of attraction, you kind of get into this mindset that you're already worth $100 million. And then you can, when you jump into that mindset and start making decisions in that direction, your mind and biology kind of adapt to thinking like that. And you'll start coming up with reasons and ideas to support that behavior. Like, your biology will feel uncomfortable, and it will come up with ideas to support you so that you survive. Okay? So, for example, for me, I started trusting my gut, my intuition, a lot more when I was growing up, more than when I was growing up. So when I was younger, when I was, before I learned all of this, before I realized I was here, I would rely on my parents or authority to get my information from, And while that's good to some extent, there's a lot that gets lost in translation with our own biases, and what we feel is aligned with ourselves during that time. So I started trusting myself and was like, what am I good at? What are my skills? I'm good at a lot of stuff, but I had to train myself. There was a point in my life after high school where I realized that I screwed up and I didn't take high school seriously, and I was getting bad grades. Not like horrible. I was like a 3.0 out of 4 GPA. Had like B plus, whatever, B student. But my SATs were average. I got like a 1600 out of 2400. So after high school, I was like, damn, I want to go back to high school and do that all over again. Because after high school, I'm just like, well, I had my one chance to prove myself to myself, not to anybody else, but to myself, that I'm capable of passing these tests that are thrown at me in like the structured system that is education, So I studied for the ACT. I didn't want to take the SATs again because the ACT has a science section. So I was like, let me study for that. It also has the English section, reading section, and math section. I took it, and then my cumulative score was like a 31 out of 36, which I think is like top 90%. My English was a 32, my science was a 34. No, my English was a 34, my science was a 32. My reading kind of sucks. It was like a 27 or something. My math was all right. It was like a 29. So I'm not saying like go redo your SATs, but if you listen to people like, if you ever seen that video by Ty Lopez where he's like, I'm in my garage with all my books and my Lambo. He's talking, and then he's like, knowledge. That's pretty much the only thing I agree with him on, is that it really is knowledge. It really is education. Learning things that are around you, whatever that may be. You could be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. Those are the top 3 professions that you should aim for if you want to make a lot of money, because it's usually one of those 3 people or one of those 3 professions where the most money comes out of. And even if you go to law school and you don't like it, you learn the skill to talk to people, and then you can get into a high-paying job like sales. Sales is really high-paying, or entrepreneurship, which is just like you got to be your own boss, in the sense that it's you versus everybody else. It's you and the market, and you got to present yourself and build your storefront, and it takes time. It's not going to look perfect right away. You iterate, but the important thing is to start. You publish something, anything, even if it's just coming up with your brand name and like focusing on that thing, even if that's your name. So for me, I invented this drone car and patented it and everything. And the universe kind of just reciprocated that energy to me. You know, it saw what I was doing with YouTube and everything, and now I have 100 mil. So, you know, the the universe responds to what you do. It's the first law of thermodynamics. It's Newton's first, second, and third law of motion. When you learn those things, you realize these people are coming up behind me. I gotta walk faster. When you learn about the universe and how it works, you start reasoning by first principles. You know, not looking to authority for guidance, but instead leaning in on your intuition about what you know, how the world works, how things respond to you. And then your mindset should just be that I don't think he's homeless. I think he's just tired. But anyway, so your mindset should always kind of just have a singular focus. You know, focus on one thing. And if that's money, money is a byproduct. The money will come. You got to just start doing something and trust that the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, it's programmed to respond to good things. So like say for example you commit a crime, you might get away with it for a while, but eventually the law catches up to you and you go to jail. You know what I mean? So whatever you do that's good and you're expecting some sort of payout, just know that it might take a few years before the universe responds to you and gives you whatever it is that you were looking for or wanted to get out of that effort you put in. So in most cases it's money, right? Like we live in a capitalistic society. Money is kind of what we go after. So if it's $100 million, you know, just keep going. Do whatever it is that you think you need to do. Don't listen to other people. Especially not your parents, because more than likely your parents, statistically, whoever's watching this, like more than likely your parents were just led by their own genitals and they wanted to reproduce, and you know, a lot of relationships fail. It just, you know, the way that I see it, the advice that I can give you is don't listen to people who don't have the life that you want. So, you know, if you come from a poor family, why would you listen to those people? Are they happy? Are you happy when you wake up? You know, when you wake up to go to work, to your 9-to-5 job, do you laugh to yourself? Do you feel joy? Are you like, this is fun? You know, in the beginning it's fun when you get a job. You're like, yeah, someone accepted me and now I'm getting paid money to trade my time for it. But at the end of the day, you know, even me, like with YouTube, sometimes I want to take a break. I love YouTube and I, you know, I want to do it and I have discipline to do it, but that discipline comes from the joy of doing it. sometimes I get down and I run out of things to say, or I don't want to do it anymore. You know, and I take a break and I go do something else for a little bit, or just hang out and watch YouTube videos for a while and think about the next thing that I educate myself and then become better for the next phase of my YouTube journey. But you can't do that when you have a full-time job. When you have a full-time job, you're kind of committed to it, and they're not very kind to you. They're not like, oh yeah, you can take a break and come back whenever you want. You're kind of committed to the grind of waking up every day to a life you don't necessarily like. People will tell you like, oh, you gotta just go against the grain and discipline yourself and work hard even if you hate it. It's like, bro, like, you have 80 years here. You think when you're 80, looking back, you're gonna be happy that you didn't do the things that you enjoy doing? Like, look at me. I'm doing something that's hard, but I don't have this mindset of, oh, I gotta do it, and like I like fight myself to do it. I'm motivated by like my dream. You know, like this was hard. I'm sure a lot of people can't do it, but my skill is in computer aided design and drafting and architecture and geometry. Like, I'm good at geometry. I'm good at, you know, like shapes and puzzle pieces and making things fit together. You know, that's just my skill set, and that's what I'm good at. So I use that to my advantage, and I found whatever I like, but I'm also good at, but is also hard. It's like a Venn diagram. You got to pick what you're good at, what's hard, what's worthwhile doing, and what pays money. And that's kind of the secret sauce for success, is that you need to pick something that aligns with all those three. Something you're good at, something that makes money, and something that you enjoy doing. So my word of advice for you is just realize that you're here. Realize that you're already you have a brain, and the brain is the most complex system, the most complex organism, the most complex thing that we know about in the observable universe. There's nothing out there that's worth more than your brain. I mean, arguably with AI now, I mean, even AI is just a very sophisticated word predicting algorithm with like mass amounts of data. And who knows, if it becomes compatible and fits our brain enough, maybe we'll have chips in our brain that add on to the tertiary layer of our brain, so that we have a quaternary, or whatever the fourth one is called. And we'll add a layer on top of that and just we'll just have like all this knowledge and information at our fingertips. So yeah, you have to kind of you know, the urge to reproduce is hard. I mean, but use that to your advantage. Do something that you think is sexy. And it's not going to be sexy in the beginning. It's going to look like crap. It's going to look like, you know, but as long as it aligns with your values, what you actually want to do, the first step that you take in creating something new or novel, or you invent something, you put something, you know, I'm not talking about trading your time for money and like doing window tints and like putting window tints on cars and like getting money from that. If that's your passion and you thoroughly enjoy doing that, your first window tint that you do might not come out that good, but after a while you'll just become really good at window tinting. And then, you know, you'll do a few of your friends, do a few of your family members, maybe you do it for free, but you build your business. You create a social media channel of your work, and then people hit you up to do your window tint. You charge them maybe less money than you know, shops do, because you don't have a shop and you don't have overhead, so you can be lean and be kind of like a mobile window tinter, or whatever, you know, whatever you end up choosing to do. You can do whatever you want, but just realize that growth is exponential. Exponential looks like this. So it starts very, very slow and steady and like barely any growth in the beginning, but then around this time it starts exponentially going up, and then you'll notice growth towards the tail end of it. So if you've ever read the book that talks about 10,000 hours, which roughly equates to 10 years, there's data to support it. You know, Sabrina Carpenter was working 10 years before she blew up. G-Eazy, in one of his songs, it was like 11 years straight, never debate, or something like that, one of his lines. But it took him 11 years straight before we finally broke through. Never debate. I don't know what he said, but it took him 11 years before his songs blew up, and you know, he became someone. So you need to build a rough history of yourself. The first 10 years is just practice. You kind of just do what you want to do what you're good at, and do something that makes money. And eventually you'll land on $100 million. So with that being said, guys, like the video, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video.